Rolls-Royce makes the most luxurious cars in the world, and the richest people in the world dream of owning a Rolls-Royce. But surprisingly, this luxurious brand was started by a boy whose entire childhood was spent doing child labor in extreme poverty. The story begins in 1863. Henry Royce is born in a small village in England. When Royce was only 4 years old, his father's business was ruined. His entire family was left on the streets. But this was just the beginning of their problems. At the age of 9, Royce lost his father forever. Because of this, his mother had to work as a maid, and young Royce started delivering newspapers. At this point, his future looked completely dark. But at the age of 14, a turning point came in his life. One of his aunts saw potential in Henry. She went to the Great Northern Railway Company and got him a job as an apprentice. In the next 3 years, Royce worked day and night. He read dozens of books and worked in the factory, learning carpentry, mathematics, and most importantly, electronics. By the age of 17, he had become a fully capable mechanic. At 21, he was working as an engineer in a company called Maxim Western. But due to financial difficulties, the company was about to shut down. Royce had the option to take up jobs in many other companies, but instead he decided to start his own electrical engineering business. Using his £20 savings, he opened a small office in Manchester and named it F.H. Royce and Company. He also took his friend Ernest Claremont as a partner. In the beginning, Royce did whatever work he could find to survive, repairing sewing machines, doing electrical fittings, and other odd jobs. But he noticed that the demand for electrical fittings and lighting was rapidly increasing, so he started manufacturing arc lamps, bulb holders, and electric doorbells. This decision changed the company's fate. By 1900, the company's sales had crossed £20,000. At the age of 38, Royce had a family and they were planning to build a huge factory. Everything seemed to be going well. Then came a twist in the story. In 1901, German and American companies entered the British electronics market. Competition increased sharply, and the prices of electrical equipment fell dramatically. Royce's business started crashing. As the business failed, Royce's physical and mental health also deteriorated. When he consulted a doctor, he received simple advice. He needed fresh air to recover. The doctor suggested he buy a car so he could travel comfortably without too much strain. Royce took a vacation to recover and bought a French-made car called Decoville. But this car was full of problems. It made a lot of noise, the brakes were ineffective, and it had serious overheating issues. For a perfectionist like Henry Royce, this car was far below standard. So he decided to make minor modifications. But instead, he redesigned the car completely. This redesigned car was superior to the original car. This gave Royce the confidence to build his own car and even start a car business. He assembled a team and began designing his new car. The parts were sent to a workshop for casting. Eventually, Royce's 10-horsepower, 2-cylinder car started taking shape. In terms of quietness, lightness, durability, and reliability, this car was far superior. On 1st April 1904, the car was tested on the road. In its first test, it covered 50 kilometers without any problems. Royce built 2 more cars of the same model. They were further tested and improved, eventually becoming world-class cars. However, Royce was not capable of delivering these cars to the world market. This is where the second hero of the story enters, Charles Rolls. Royce was presenting his cars at an exhibition when Charles Rolls spotted them. Charles Rolls was a passionate motorist who ran a successful business selling superior quality cars. Rolls had already been searching for a luxury British car manufacturer. So he met Royce and examined the cars closely. He was deeply impressed by Royce's work. He told his business partner that he had found the world's greatest engineer. Charles Rolls and Henry Royce agreed to start a joint venture to sell these cars. The name of the company would be Rolls-Royce. In March 1906, Rolls-Royce Limited was officially established. 4 Rolls-Royce models, 10, 15, 20, and 30 horsepower, were introduced to the market. Rolls believed that the best way to market a car was through participation in racing tournaments. That is why Rolls-Royce participated in prestigious events such as the Isle of Man Tourist Trophy. Rolls-Royce cars won many of these races and also set several new speed records. By then, Rolls-Royce had already established itself as a great car company. But their most successful car was yet to come. At the end of 1906, Rolls-Royce launched a model with 40 to 50 horsepower and a 6-cylinder engine. Its body color was silver, and it was extremely smooth and silent, almost like a ghost. That is why it was named the Rolls-Royce Silver Ghost. To market the car, Rolls-Royce planned an endurance test covering 24,000 kilometers. The Silver Ghost was driven continuously for 2.5 months, day and night, with only short breaks on Sundays. The total distance covered was 24,000 kilometers, and the Rolls-Royce Silver Ghost passed the test without any issues. Rolls-Royce also organized several demonstrations in which the Silver Ghost successfully passed the famous whisper test. In this test, a coin was balanced on the bonnet of the car while it was being driven. Thanks to the car's incredibly smooth and silent engine, the coin did not fall during the drive, which proved that this car was extremely smooth. With these strategies, the Rolls-Royce Silver Ghost became famous as one of the best cars in the world. It became the first choice of kings, queens, and industry leaders of that era. The partnership between Charles Rolls and Henry Royce proved to be a masterstroke. They were achieving success from every direction, but then a terrible incident occurred. Along with cars, Charles Rolls was also deeply passionate about aviation. On July 12, 1910, he was flying an aircraft called the Wright Flyer. During the flight, the tail section of the aircraft broke off and the plane crashed from a height of 100 feet. In this accident, 32-year-old Charles Rolls lost his life. This incident deeply affected Henry Royce. He was still trying to recover from this loss when, in 1911, he received another shock. His health started deteriorating rapidly, and doctors diagnosed him with bowel cancer. He underwent a major operation, but even after the surgery, doctors told him that he had only 3 months to live. Even in this condition, Royce continued improving the design and engineering of the Silver Ghost. And then a miracle happened. After 3 months, Royce made a full recovery. After returning to work, he introduced major improvements to the Silver Ghost. The ground clearance was increased, the suspension was improved, and the chassis was made stronger. During this time, Rolls-Royce noticed a growing trend of people placing personalized mascots on the bonnets of their cars. However, the company was concerned that some people were using inappropriate mascots, which could negatively affect the image of Rolls-Royce. That is why they decided to design their own mascot. For this mascot, a British actress and model named Eleanor Thornton was used as the inspiration. The sculpture depicts a woman leaning forward with her arms stretched backward as if strong wind is flowing around her. This mascot symbolizes grace, freedom, and speed. Its name is the Spirit of Ecstasy. The word ecstasy means overwhelming happiness. Due to all these improvements, Rolls-Royce's sales and profits grew rapidly. By 1913, the company's profit had exceeded £90,000, and there were plans to expand internationally. But then something happened that almost destroyed Rolls-Royce. World War I began in 1914, and Rolls-Royce was not prepared for its impact. Because of the war, the economy suffered badly, which heavily affected luxury car companies like Rolls-Royce. Sales collapsed, and the company was forced to lay off many employees. Everyone believed that Rolls-Royce would not survive the war. But the company had different plans. Rolls-Royce met with military authorities and realized that the war required reliable and high-performance vehicles. That is why Rolls-Royce modified the Rolls-Royce Silver Ghost and converted it into an armored car. An 8mm thick layer of armor was installed on the car's body. A revolving turret fitted with a machine gun was also added. This vehicle was used for operations in the harsh desert regions of the Middle East. In addition, it was also used for reconnaissance and spying missions. Because the Silver Ghost was extremely smooth to drive, it also became an ideal vehicle for transporting wounded soldiers. As a result, many Silver Ghosts were converted into military ambulances. These ambulances had enough space for stretchers, medical equipment, and nurses. Electric lighting was installed for nighttime missions. These ambulances saved thousands of lives. Due to their luxury and reliability, Rolls-Royce cars were also used by high-ranking officers, diplomatic missions, and royal messengers during the war. While working closely with the military, Rolls-Royce realized that the British Air Force depended heavily on French companies for aircraft engines. The government desperately wanted a British company to manufacture and supply these engines. Recognizing this opportunity, Rolls-Royce entered the aircraft engine industry. Henry Royce personally studied aircraft engine design and launched the company's first aero engine in 1915, called the Rolls-Royce Eagle. This engine was more reliable, lighter, and more fuel efficient than its competitors. As a result, the British Air Force ordered 500 Eagle engines by the end of the year. But Rolls-Royce did not stop there. In 1916, the company introduced a smaller version of the Eagle engine called the Rolls-Royce Falcon. Then, in 1918, Rolls-Royce developed the Rolls-Royce Condor engine for large, long-range aircraft. These engines gave Britain a major advantage in aerial combat, reconnaissance missions, anti-submarine operations, and bombing campaigns. This became one of the important reasons behind Britain's success during the war. Rolls-Royce's entry into aircraft engine manufacturing proved to be a brilliant decision. Even today, Rolls-Royce engines are used in thousands of commercial and military aircraft. In 1918, World War I came to an end. Over the next 15 years, Rolls-Royce focused on both automobiles and aircraft engines. The company launched a smaller and more affordable car called the 20. Unfortunately, sales of the model were not very impressive. By 1925, competition in the luxury car market had increased significantly because of brands such as Bentley and Cadillac. Rolls-Royce needed a bold new car to maintain its position in the market. As a result, the company replaced the Silver Ghost with the Rolls-Royce Phantom, which offered better performance and four-wheel brakes. The Phantom became highly successful and once again established Rolls-Royce as the king of the luxury car market. Later, the Rolls-Royce Phantom 2 was also launched and received equally positive recognition. In 1931, Rolls-Royce acquired Bentley, which was close to bankruptcy. After the acquisition, Rolls-Royce designed another iconic car, the Bentley 3.5 liter. It was a successful blend of Rolls-Royce engineering and Bentley performance, but unfortunately, Henry Royce never saw this car with his own eyes. On April 22, 1933, 70-year-old Henry Royce passed away, just a few months before the car entered production. Since the death of Sir Henry Royce, Rolls-Royce has experienced many ups and downs. On one hand, iconic cars such as the Rolls-Royce Phantom 3, Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow, and Rolls-Royce Ghost were launched. On the other hand, the company faced major financial difficulties during the 1960s, which eventually led to the separation of its aviation and automobile businesses. Today, the Rolls-Royce car business is owned by BMW. Even now, Rolls-Royce remains one of the greatest symbols of ultimate luxury because of its iconic cars. Owning a Rolls-Royce Phantom or any Rolls-Royce model is often considered like owning a masterpiece, a symbol of perfection, elegance, and prestige. Thank you for watching this video, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts below. See you soon in the next exciting video.